Alright guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to start off and we're going to talk some Nintendo Switch 2 news, because the Nintendo Switch 2 should be just around the corner. There have been plenty of rumors as to exactly what this console is going to be in terms of the spec side of things and backwards compatibility and the screen, whether it's going to be LCD or OLED. But now we have some more information here about the Joy-Cons and the hardware of the Nintendo Switch 2. But before we do jump into this, make sure to hit that subscribe button if it is your first time here, you enjoy daily gaming content, and make sure to check out my Spotify. Link is in the description. So we have a report here from Insider Gaming saying that Nintendo Switch 2 is built using Samsung components and that the Joy-Cons themselves are actually going to be magnetic. As more information about the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2 continues to leak out, this time about the components used for the console. According to Business Korea, the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever the system will be called, will be built primarily with Samsung components. The report claims that Samsung's foundry will build the SoC, the system on a chip, basically your GPU, your CPU, all of everything in there within that chip. It is expected to be the NVIDIA Tegra T239 chip, which is something we've already heard in the rumors, so that's not really anything new, but it's going to be manufactured via Samsung's 7LPH process node. And in addition, the 5th generation V NAND storage will be used for both the internal memory and the game cartridge memory. And then lastly, it was said that Samsung beat out multiple companies based in China to be the official display provider for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now, the big thing here with the display is I feel like it is going to not be an OLED display with the Switch 2, because they're going to be keeping the cost as low as possible. That's kind of what they did with the original Nintendo Switch. It's their bread and butter, making sure that it is affordable and that they can ship it out in mass amounts and get as many sales as possible. And I mean, you're seeing how successful the Nintendo Switch has been. And then later they did release the OLED model of the Nintendo Switch, which is just a far better experience when you're playing in handheld. So the question here is, are they going to do that here right off of the bat with the Switch 2 and give the OLED screen? And I feel like they potentially aren't going to, which is going to disappoint a lot of people, but we'll see how good the screen is that they do put on it when they officially do announce and show off the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, we don't know when this is going to be coming out. It was originally in the rumors for an end of the year 2024 release. Then we heard other rumors that got pushed into the early 2025 because they want to have a better launch lineup for the console, which I think could be a great idea, especially if they're going to launch something like Metroid Prime 4 with the Nintendo Switch 2. Hopefully that game is coming out sooner rather than later. We've been waiting a long time for it. But it is going to be a brand new entry into this generation of consoles. It's going to go up against the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and S. Even if it is underpowered compared to them, it's most likely going to be able to play all of those same games. And it's going to be a huge competitor, especially with the just overall success of the current Nintendo Switch. Now, the other thing they do talk about here is the Joy-Cons and how those are going to connect. And it says the new iteration of the Joy-Con controller will connect to the system via magnetic strips, as well as a release window, as again they reiterate here, spring of 2025. So similar to what they did, I think, with the first Switch, announce it in the late end of the year period of the previous year and then release it in the spring timeframe of the next year. So I'm guessing maybe they'll have a very same timeframe of a March release 2025 for the Switch 2 as they did a March release with the current Nintendo Switch. So there you have it. The magnetic Joy-Cons, we'll see. Those are really easy to connect and take off. That's kind of cool. The current Joy-Cons, you have to push that little button in the back and lift it up and slide it down. It's on those rails. It's kind of sometimes not intuitive, but I mean, it works fine. So magnetic connection could be great. I hope they do have the Hall effect sticks on these Joy-Cons, so there is no stick drift, because I know, as we know, Nintendo Switch had a huge issue with that. And I'm sure they don't want to go down that path again, having to make up for that issue with the stick drift with the Joy-Cons. So we will see. I'm actually very excited for the Nintendo Switch 2. I love the Nintendo consoles. I love all their games. So I'll keep my eyes open. We will continue to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2, or whatever they're going to be called, the Super Switch, when we get more information on that. All right, let's talk about Shinji Mikami. As we know, he was at Tango Gameworks, and he was huge there with games like Evil Within. And I thought when Xbox purchased Bethesda, Shinji Mikami and Tango were going to be that gem and just absolutely perfect for what they need, which is more of a Japanese presence in their game development and in their portfolio. And then he left left, so that was very disappointing, and nobody really knew what he was going on to next. And then we had saw that he had established a new company, and now he is talking about wanting to leave the actual horror genre with this new studio. So it says it was confirmed last February that Mikami was leaving Tango Gameworks, studio behind The Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush, which he founded in 2010 before selling it to Bethesda. And then after it emerged last month that the Resident Evil creator had established a new company, Mikami appeared on Japanese YouTube channel Biking to discuss his career and what he wants to do in the future. Because I think a lot of people have eyes on what he is going to be creating going forward. And it says, according to Automaton, Mikami told Biking that he'd planned to leave Tango for 8 years before doing so, but felt a responsibility to continue working on the studio's game. So he has been planning this for a while, wanting to venture off and start something new. You see a lot of this with these studios from these big names that have prominence in the industry, have a great pedigree for the games that they have made. They start a studio, they make incredible stuff, they sell the studio, and then they don't really want to be under anybody anymore. They want to be under the corporate boot. They want to go off, break off, and venture off and do their own things. So they leave and then they try to start another studio, and the cycle will just probably continue if he makes a great creative game here that people do want to play. It says, ask why he wanted to leave. He reportedly cited his desire to create an environment designed to give young game creators more regular experience by making games with shorter development cycles, which makes sense because we are in an era right now where the development cycles are just absolutely insane. One of the major reasons why the costs of these games are increasing so much and why publishers want to take less risk with the games that they are putting out going forward, because they can't really handle $300 million games or $200 million games anymore. The ROI on those just aren't there. He says that he thinks there's an audience for more unique small scale titles, and I think there is, and I think we're definitely moving more into that in the next couple of years, as we're going to see smaller titles, shorter games, and shorter development cycles, so that they can get better return on their investments with these games that they produce. Now, he's obviously best known for Resident Evil and Resident Evil 4, the GameCube remake, and many other titles as well, like I said, Evil Within and Ghostwire Tokyo, all the stuff he did at Tango. But he clarified his role within Tango Gameworks prior to his departure and said, I had only been CEO for 6 months. He says, I think a lot of people were under the impression that I was the representative, but I was very close to a rank and file employee. I had a producer attached to my name, but I wasn't an executive or anything of the sort. And I mean, there you have it. In 2020, he said he wanted to direct one more video game project before he retired, adding that he had no shortage of ideas and that they weren't limited to the horror game. So we'll see what he does here with his next game, with this new studio that he has started, and what style of game he is going to be making. I'm guessing it's going to be completely different from a lot of the stuff that we would expect here from Shinji Mikami. All right, let's talk some Remedy, because Remedy is making some changes to their core management team as they want to grow more the Alan Wake and Control series into larger franchises, and that would make sense with the success of both of those games. I mean, you saw Alan Wake 2 how successful that was, and they're going to want to continue to not have probably huge gaps between the releases of Alan Wake games, and then have Control, of course, which took everybody by storm when it did release. And we have more information here. It says this morning, Finnish game developer Remedy Entertainment announced a couple of key changes to its core management plan. First and foremost, Chief Operations Officer Christopher Schmitz has resigned and will leave the company on May 21st. And secondly, Mikhail Kasurinin, I don't know if I say these names correctly, I'm trying my best there, but it says has been promoted to creative director, sharing responsibilities in this role with Sami Järvi, more commonly known as Sam Lake. Kasurinin also joins the Remedy core management team. And they do mention, again, the games that they really do want to focus on and grow into bigger franchises. Specifically, they say here, with this arrangement, we can ensure the needed focus on growing Alan Wake and Control into larger franchises and the right type of creative guidance and support that all our games can benefit from. So if that's the style of games that you've liked from Remedy, if you like those two franchises, you probably can expect a lot more from them going forward. I can't wait to see what other stuff comes out of Remedy, what comes next for Alan Wake, what Sam Lake has up his sleeve for some next entries into these franchises. It should be pretty good. All right, jumping over here, let's talk a bit about Bloober team, as they are working now on 2 new IPs and working with Take-Two to develop these games. They have Project C, which is a brand new IP being developed in partnership with Take-Two Interactive, and then Project R, a 2025 release based on a Skybound Entertainment IP. And they do specifically say here that Project C, which we are working on together with private division Take-Two Interactive, is currently well advanced, and we are very pleased with the current progress. And this will be the next big step of Bloober team in order to implement a long-term strategy. It will also be the first original IP belonging to the Bloober team as a part of the new strategy. And they say that we can expect a confirmation and the game that will be announced later this year. They say the team can't wait to show the effect of its work on this unique title. And then for Project R, the expected premiere is in 2025. They say the issuer concluded on December 20th, 2023, a licensing and publishing agreement with Skybound Game Studios, under which the issuer was granted a license to create a game based on the IP owned by Skybound, which will be used as part of the production of the issuer's new project codenamed Project R. So 2 new IPs coming from Bloober. If you do like the work that they do, you do like the games that they have created, keep your eyes open for that. I'm guessing with Project C here, we are going to be getting an announcement very soon in one of these summer showcases. Will be my best guess about getting an announcement for what this game is all about. So pretty cool there. All right, let's talk about Satya and Nadella, because we did get the financial reports here from Microsoft last week, and their overall gaming and content revenue saw a nice boost and a big jump. Their console sales are down. One of the things really boosting Xbox obviously was that acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and that's going to continue to help them going forward, help them continue to make more games, invest into Game Pass, and give more content to the end user. But we know the big strategy here for Xbox, and it has been for a while. Some people still play it up like this is something new, that putting games on to other platforms was something that Xbox just kind of came out of nowhere and decided to do. But they've kind of been hinting at this for a while now with the Play Anywhere and their strategy of opening up their ecosystem from the beginning of this generation. And Satya Nadella here talks about gaming and the Q3 results and says, we are committed to meeting players where they are by bringing great games to more people on more devices. We set third quarter records for gaming streaming hours, console usage, and monthly active devices. And I mean, that's what they're looking for. They want those numbers to set records every single quarter. They want to be able to go to the investors and say, hey, look, the strategy that we've employed and that we're doing is working. People are playing more. People are less distracted from the competition, and they're more within the Xbox ecosystem. And that's kind of what he's recognizing here. And it also means going forward, we are going to continue to see Xbox put more games in more places. So if you're somebody there who has an Xbox and you're sitting there and you're hoping that they reverse the strategy, or you think that it's going to just be the 4 games forever that Xbox puts on the PlayStation 5 and the Nintendo Switch, I don't think that's going to be the case, especially as they're setting records, their numbers are good, and the Xbox ecosystem is obviously thriving based off of what they have shown so far. It's really all that matters to the end user, to the gamer. Are they doing well so that they can continue to bring more content and they can continue to bolster, I mean, the showpiece, the golden ticket to Xbox, which is Xbox Game Pass. So that's what Nadella thinks. And I have a feeling he was looking at the numbers with these strategies and thought, we need to get more people. We need to put games more places to broaden our reach for Xbox. And finally, Fallout. I mean, we know Fallout is huge, and it's been extremely popular because of the Fallout TV show lately. The question is, when is the next Fallout game going to be releasing? I don't think anytime soon. There's always that question, are they even releasing one in this decade? I mean, we're 2024, that's 6 years away. If they haven't started development, it's kind of skeptical that they would, because at the minimum, it's a 4-year development cycle. But with a game like Fallout, probably even more, because of how big that game is potentially going to be. But it seems like there may be some hope here. This is via Jez Corden and the Xbox 2 podcast. And he outlines the problem that people want Fallout, and Xbox is aware that people want more Fallout, and that the franchise is a guaranteed success, and the TV show and everything has really brought it to even more popularity now. But again, the question is, are we getting one this decade? And Jez Corden seems to think that we potentially could get one this decade. As he mentions that Xbox is considering other means to accelerate the development for a new Fallout game. And he thinks that outsourcing the IP to another developer is seemingly Xbox's best bet, which would make sense. I mean, Bethesda's working on Starfield still with the expansion and everything. They're working on Elder Scrolls 6, so you can't really think there's any time for them to be working on a Fallout 5, but they could give the IP to one of the many studios within Xbox go and outsource to a third party, something like that, and get some help to make a new Fallout game, which would definitely accelerate it. And we've seen them do this in the past with New Vegas, which is a lot of people's favorite Fallout game. So it's not like they don't have any experience doing this whatsoever. So we'll see if that is something that happens. But the question you have to ask yourself, really, if you're a Fallout fan, do you want them to accelerate? Do you want them to rush it? Because I know for me, for the next Fallout game, even if it doesn't come out until 2030, I'd rather them take their time and make sure that there is nothing rushed and that there is a good product that is released. Xbox has had problems with this in the past, with rushing things out, and it's never paid off. So it's just patience at this point. There's tons of Fallout content to go back and dive into. You got the next gen update right now with Fallout 4. Fallout 76 is seeing a resurgence. So I hope whatever they do decide here, it is well calculated and it isn't a decision that is being rushed to because of the success of the TV show. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye.